Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Let me say this right up front, first and foremost. The purpose of this video, the purpose of my channel, of most of the videos I do is to get across the idea that recovery is possible. I've been in recovery now from the hardest substances, the substances I'm going to talk about in this video. I've been in recovery coming up on 18 years since October 23rd of 2006. So that I want to stress that point. I really feel that I am still alive today, and I'm clean and sober and happy. And there was a reason behind it. There's a reason for this, and the reason is to try to help other people with this. Okay, let me say this first and foremost. I'm not trying to be an ass in this. There's a video, and I'll use a few screenshots on my thumbnail. The link will be right down below. It's a very short video. The link's to Facebook, I believe. It's a very short video, and it's about a substance that we hear all too often these days. It begins with F. And I don't have the name of this young man. It's a 17-year-old man, and apparently he's no longer with us. And in this video, I believe it's his parents. The text in this video is to the person that gave or sold it to their son, and it's very blunt, saying that you killed him. And like I said, I'm not making this video I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm not, but I had a perspective when I saw this. Let me say this. My thoughts on this. If you're like with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump talking about bombing or invading or whatever Mexico and the people of Mexico and their thoughts on battling this, J.D. Vance has got all these opinions because apparently his mother was an addict. And let me say this: the problem isn't the supply. The problem isn't the people of Mexico. Isn't the country of Mexico. The problem isn't the cartels. The supply is a symptom, a result of the demand. If there wasn't a demand, there would not be a supply. You can't get rid of this. As long as there's this overwhelming demand in this country and the money to buy it, to make that demand come true, there's always, somebody's all throughout human history. People have looked for something to provide. When somebody wants something, people have made a lot of money providing other people with what they want. Throughout all of human history, and it's not about to end now. And that's exactly what you have going on here. Treatment and education are the best way to curb the demand. And when you curb the demand, you will curb the supply. To me, it seemed kind of simple. In this video, I hate saying this, but I have a problem with the responsibility factor. And I feel terrible saying this, but it is my feeling, that there's a problem with this, blaming it on whoever gave it or sold it to him. Let me try to point out this, because this is the way it happened with me. When your kids hear this, about these evil people in Mexico or whatever, this is, supplying this. That's what they picture. So down the road, when one of their best friends or their family member comes up to them and says, "Hey man, you got to check this out. I just got it from the bathroom cabinet. It's crazy." Their best friend, because chances are that's how it was with me. It wasn't some deep dark illegal immigrant that came up to me. It was my literal best friend that got me pretty much, that shared it with me. So when they see their best friend, they think, it can't be, it can't be dangerous. It can't be a problem. It's my best friend. Now that's the problem with this whole using this mindset that it's all blaming it all on other people, poisoning us. You have to take responsibility for this. Let me say this: if this kid, I hate to say this, I hate to be an ass about this, but if this kid walked into an intersection, just blindly walked out into an intersection and got hit by a bus, would you arrest the bus driver? No. Is it the bus driver's fault? No. In this day and age especially, you have to you have to be aware, even at a young age, the dangers of life out there. People are not looking out for your best interest, and this stuff is death. And so I started thinking, well, what's an answer to this? And I started thinking, well, if you're going to criticize something like I am, you should provide a solution. I firmly believe that. If you just, anybody can criticize, that sucks, everybody can criticize. But if you're going to criticize, you really should provide a solution. Otherwise, it's just nonsense. You're just spewing, you're just babbling. So I started thinking about the reason I'm here. And I would sincerely, if a parent or parents asked me to come out here, or come over there, or come across the country, and talk to their kid, or share my experiences, because one of the very first times I ever used the very first time, I didn't even realize that I had a physical withdrawal from the first time I used. That's how fast and how evil this stuff is. It is death. Inevitably, the first time I used it, I took off the codeine, and I took more than the prescribed amount to achieve the euphoria. I almost ended up the same way this kid did. I came about this close from ending up the exact same way this kid did to achieve that euphoric effect. And a couple of days later, I'm having all these flu symptoms, and I would have never, now I know, but back then I would have never even thought that it was withdrawals from the one time. So I think, I could share this with young people, the hell of this. By the time you realize that you're addicted, that you're going to have withdrawals, you are in a bad spot. By the time you realize that, it's quick. It's, you don't even know. And by the time you're already in hell, you're already there. There's no way. Like, I think of the Pink Floyd song, there's no way out of here. When you come in, you're in for good. By the time you realize you're in, it's too late, man. You're down that hole, and there's, climbing back out is next to impossible, and it just gets worse and worse. And that's why I talk about this now, because I've been clean and sober. I'll talk more about how I achieved that. Here's the thing. Here's why I can't wrap this video up in a nice little happy bow and say, well, that's it. We treat the disease, and I'm willing to do my part in that. Right? So I could end the video on this nice, happy note. And then I remembered, and I have to be honest, it didn't work with me. I remember back in junior high school, I got to be honest with you guys, it'd be a nice way to wrap this video up, saying, I'll come out and, I'll talk to anybody, and I'll help and do my part and tell them about, all the hell that I experienced. Somebody did that to me, and I used anyway. And that's the truth of the matter. Back in junior high school, I had never even used yet. I still remember, I'm 59 years old, and I used for over 2 decades. And it's just, things just are still coming back. So many memories, having used every day. All these things are still coming back into my mind, these memories. And I was in junior high school, and we all got called into the auditorium. It was 7th and 8th grade. And they had this guy that was just out on release from I believe it was Correctional Institute in Somers, Connecticut. He just got out. I could swear that he was actually still wearing the prison clothes. And and there was, if I remember right, there was like a sheriff with him. I don't even know if he was still in jail, possibly. But he told us, the hell of this. If he could change it, look where I've ended up. And he's trying to stress, what a nightmare this is. And I remember him saying this. I remember him saying, he said this. I heard this 45 years ago, and I still remember him saying this. He says, I could leave here and I could be back in 20 minutes with whatever, whatever substance, a bag of this, a bag of that. And that amazed me. I was like, for some reason I never used, but I was like, wow, really? It's that, you could, because at that age, I had no idea where this stuff was or how to get it. Really? That's, you could leave here and, be right back. That, seriously? I wasn't sure if I believed it. And I became that person. I listened to everything he said, the horror stories. I still remember him talking about jumping on his skateboard when he was all out of it and ending up in the hospital, and then this part about, being back in 15 minutes and all that. And I ended up turning into him. I actually ended up, despite everybody's best efforts, nobody in my family used. My parents warned me about this stuff. Before my father died, he up till 9, when I was 9 years old, they warned me about, don't use it, don't. And I remember my father saying he'd kill me if I ever used. And what did I end up doing? I ended up using. And then I ended up actually being, I don't know if subconsciously it actually became a goal. I wanted to be that guy that could leave here in 15 minutes and be back with whatever, because that's who I became. That's who I became. I can't wrap this video up in a nice little neat bow tie. There's the answer. I'll come out and I'll talk to your kids and I'll help you with this, because somebody talked to me. And I ended up turning out the exact same way as the guy that was trying to warn me. That's the truth. It's hard. It's evil. It really is. I truly, I don't throw that word around lightly, but it's evil. And the way this particular substance affects you, without, deceives you. I don't know how else to say. I know it sounds crazy, but, it sounds all paranoid or superstitious, but it does. It's one of the most evil things on earth. You will rue the day. You will regret the day that you ever touched any of this stuff. Trust me on that. Even just experimenting, even just one time, because that was my intention. And 25 years later, I was in hell. And it took me a long time, 13 trips to detox and rehabs to get out of it. And medically assisted treatment. I'll talk more about that in the future. Beware. Stay away from this stuff. It is death. Have a good Saturday.